This video, we're going to look at Wrath of the Lich King jewel crafting, one of the most popular gold making professions of all time. Well, in Wrath, it's not just going to be popular for gold makers. It's going to be one of the most popular professions overall because of the PvE benefit. You get special epic gems, and they are really good. So there's going to be a ton of people with jewel crafting. Obviously, that's going to have an effect on your gold making potential. More competition. Definitely more competition, but there are other things that means that you're probably going to make gold as well. And let's face it, the majority of the player base don't really care about making gold with their professions. Most players don't. And if slightly more people who will post gems like once every month have jewel crafting, it's not going to meaningfully matter. It didn't back then. Jewel crafting was still super popular, and it was still very, very strong for gold making. I think that's going to be the case as well. And you have to remember with jewel crafting, every time you have to spend a lot of time prospecting your ores. And let's face it, most people don't want to prospect. Most people don't enjoy prospecting for long periods of time. Here you'll definitely be doing Serenite ore early on, titanium ore once we get epic gems down the line. But looking at these percentages, you're going to prioritize Serenite ore pretty heavily, most likely, because rare gems is going to be where the money is. Now, one thing that's interesting about jewel crafting here is the Dalaran Jewel Crafters tokens. This is what you use to buy recipes. Use them to buy all of the cuts. So that's a huge change from TBC. This includes all of the rare gems, all of the meta gems, and a bunch of epic rings and necklaces, some of which are going to be very strong. So you're going to want a lot of these. And the way you get them, you can get one per day from a daily quest in Dalaran. He's going to give you one quest per day, and then so you can get one from there. But there's also this quest. Now, obviously, I haven't tested on beta, so I'm not sure if this is implemented at the start. I think this maybe was added in a later patch. But if this one makes it in at launch, then you can turn in titanium powder. This was a catch-up mechanism, so I'll be surprised if this makes it in. But if it does, then it's going to be fantastic. You're going to slam titanium powder, which you do get from prospecting, I believe. From prospecting titanium ore, you get them all the time. And that's going to be what you do. Prospect titanium ore, turn in titanium powder, and you can get one token per turn in of 10 titanium powder, which is going to be about 20 titanium ore prospected. So obviously that's going to be expensive, but you're going to get some gems back, some rare gems back, but most likely you're going to be sinking a lot of gold in if you do it this way. But you don't have to buy recipes for gold. I was buying recipes for several thousand gold potentially at the beginning of TBC, and that paid off because getting these recipes early on is super popular. Everyone wants the correct gem, like particularly the red gems. They're selling for a lot of gold early on. So it's going to be interesting. If you only have the dailies, that's going to mean that there's very limited competition early on. People can pick one red gem after 3 days, and that's it. Then you have to wait a couple of more days before they get the next one. So pick the right one, you'll be alone. Obviously, early on, you want to focus on the red gems. And then you want to get at least one cut for each of the other colors. So that you can actually use all of the gems you get from prospecting. But the red gems is going to be where most of the money is. That's pretty much always the case with the gem system that we have with the colored gems and the sockets and stuff. The red gems just have more straight throughput damage or healing power in them, essentially. So that's the main thing. This is also where you get the necklaces and rings. And as I said, some of them are very good. So they're going to be pretty important. I don't remember exactly which, but I know that some of these are pre-bis and there might be demand. It's a little bit uncertain. These don't require Titan steel bars. So these are probably going to be very popular because they are not that hard to get the materials for. Obviously, we don't care about the frost resistance ring, but the titanium impact band, titanium spell shock ring, impact choker, and spell shock necklace, these are the ones that have potential. So that's the main thing. There are a couple of gems that drop. They're all bind and pickup, so definitely go farming for these. So there's a small number of gems that we're not getting from the token, so definitely you want to get these, which means doing some heroic dungeons. Go to town, and there's a few world drops, but the vast majority come from the dailies. So that's it. You have to be ready with the dailies, and if the titanium dust quest is in at launch, then that's going to be fantastic. And as always with these markets, the earlier you are, the better. I believe the daily quests unlock at level 77. I think you have to be level 77 to get these, to pick these up. At least it's possible you can do it at level... No, maybe they're tied behind profession skill. I don't actually remember. I should have looked that up before the video. But either way, having this on your main is going to be an advantage, because then it's faster to fly out to the mobs that you have to kill. You have to kill for this one, you need Rykul amulets, you need to go kill Rykul. If you do this on a level 70, then obviously you have to go back to the starting zone, which is quite far from Dalaran, so that's going to waste a lot of time. But still, it's probably viable, assuming you can unlock the dailies without leveling. Because you can just have your Hearthstone in Dalaran, fly out to whatever zone you can need to kill a mob in, kill the closest mobs until you get the drop, and then Hearthstone back to Dalaran and turn it in. And you don't have to do anything until the next day. Yeah, get to market quickly, get 1 or 2 red gems, and then you go and get 1 each for the other colors. Focus on the most important ones. Haste, hit rating, always very popular for the yellow ones. And then the same stamina and an offensive stat for purple is generally the play. Orange can pretty often be good, both combinations of agility hit or spell power hit or damage and hit, damage and crit, damage and haste can all have potential. Green gems are the worst ones, and one of the worst ones in my opinion, so we'll see what we can find there. Just get anything that sells with green gems. Yeah, I think that jewel crafting is going to be fantastic for gold making, even with tons of people doing it, because honestly just people don't care about prospecting all day, and they're never going to, which is why I think that it's going to be great. So I'll be focusing on jewel crafting a lot early on. Definitely keep on top of your jewel crafter tokens daily. It's incredibly important. You need to do it's several hundred dailies to unlock all the recipes. So it's going to be a very limited market for any given recipe. Of course, there's a small subset of the recipes that are super important for gold making. Not all of them are. So focus on the big ones first, and the most important ones like main stat, spell power, stuff like that. You can ignore stuff like parry, dodge. Tank stats are generally pretty bad, outside of stamina gems, which might be used by others. Pure damage gems, that's where the money is, so go for those. And yeah, good luck.